We're starting a new type of podcast today, which is going to be more of a conversational, applicable podcast for you guys. So we've brought on an anonymous live audience member, Joe, who is going to be telling us about his life and his stories and sharing with us some problems so that we can discuss and apply this knowledge from all religions and science to life.
Very well said, Joe. One question, right? Like, what drove you towards this inward thinking, towards the spiritual aspects of life?
Yeah, so after watching a couple of your episodes and watching you guys explain how things aren't as simple as we see it, especially when we take the time to escape and detach from everything that's being spoon-fed to us through our eyes, that made me look inward, and I started to have more questions.
So let's imagine what's it like before the earth has formed, before any tree has existed. Everything we can see from our food chain has evolved from something smaller, something smaller, something smaller. That means everything came from the same thing.
Who I am now is built on all this stuff, and I see it like a structure. You know, in 30 years, I've been building for a long time. And then you're telling me, oh, go all the way back down and see if you need to change it. And pull that brick. And it's very, I don't know if you guys ever play, I think the game is Jenga, where you're pulling pieces. That anxiety of pulling that version of yourself, right? And afraid of it all coming down. Because that happens to all of us, right? When we make changes, we make adjustments, we pull something out, and sometimes it doesn't work. Or we're driving on the road and we say, let me take this turn, it might be faster. And it's slower, you know, it becomes worse. And that thing that brings me anxiety. Now, as I say that, I hear your guys' words, Dara's words and your words, where it's telling me, don't see it as bad. It's all a part of everything.
Yeah.
But it's very scary to change something that I believe makes me.
You're absolutely right. It's very hard for anyone to change their self because change is not something that we were taught throughout our childhood. But can we learn something new unless we unlearn something that we have already learned, right? Look at it from that point of view. And to your Jenga example, right? If you pull out that brick faster, if everything falls faster, I will rebuild myself faster. Look at the positive side in it. Because when I rebuilt myself, I had to lose all the confidence that I had about myself. And I didn't like the things that I have done in the past as well. I had to get a fresh perspective and look everything from a different point of view.
That's very beautiful.
We were discussing all this time long is about how feelings transact, how you feel internally about yourself, how you feel about your own attachments, how you feel about someone that has helped you. When we focus on the feelings, understand the feelings, understanding the cause of the feelings, then things will become easy. And understand one fact, irrespective of you help a good or bad person. Most people have this doubt, like, can I help that person or am I making a bad step here? Right? Is the common problem that everyone has. Take a leap of faith and show help. And you will understand if the person is good or bad. None of the effort that you put out is going to be waste. Don't think about if you're helping that person. Think about, like, by doing such act, what are you doing for yourself? You're becoming a better self for yourself.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think what you said was beautiful. I first want to speak on the idea of pulling that brick fast. Because again, if you're however tall and then it breaks and it falls faster, like you said, that perspective that you had when you're at that 30-year-old, building, and to go back to when you were 5, 10 years old, that perspective when you laid that brick, when you're looking at all the bricks, you can say you're looking at each brick differently now from a 30-year-old perspective. You're saying, okay, when I laid this brick, I was 10 years old, or I was 5 years old. this is what I needed to adapt when I was 10 years old. Now I don't need this. I don't need to lay this brick anymore, right? So I can leave it around. So when I'm building now, it's a different structure. I think the anxiety of starting all over scares people. And I think, again, don't see it as starting over, see it as getting stronger.
Yep.
And the next thing that you said that was also beautiful, that the helping of others, right? I think it was beautiful because I'm afraid to move in that sense because I feel like it's selfish, right? Like, oh, I could see, I know what I'm doing, right? And a lot of times, I'm not usually this talkative. I know I'm rambling, but I'm very quiet and I like to watch. And then everything is a signal. Everyone's emitting something. I see everyone as a furnace or a chimney. You know, sometimes when you're cooking something, the smoke comes out, right? So I believe everyone is cooking up something, not in necessarily a bad way or a good way, just cooking up something. And those aromas that you're cooking from is either inviting people in or expelling people out. If I am in need of enlightenment, I may come to you. And it's all about, like you said, keeping your perspective open and seeing what do I need in this moment, which led me here, right? From being in a moment of being lost and you guys emitting this enlightenment and me being attracted and knocking on your door, right? So it's all those effort that I put into it and opening up. You guys weren't moving in a selfish way. You guys weren't even looking to have this. It was just organic. You guys were just putting energy out and whatever comes. And I want to just, like you said, put my energy out, however I do it, put it out. And if it comes, whether it be good or bad, solve it, you know, and that's what I will do.
And you're not gonna either emit either fragrance or bad smell, because it depends upon the person that is smelling, not dependent on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And understanding that fact, you're going to attract the right people and you are going to be creating probably some negative effect with bad people as well, which is the right thing to do. You don't want to attract them.
Yeah.
I just want to say I appreciate this and it was really awesome, this whole conversation. I want to bring something to light that I think has been under the mat of all of this whole conversation, which is we don't know what's coming in the future. We can predict what's coming in the future based on our actions and our thoughts, but you really don't know what's coming. So why hold on to things? Why hold on to these ideas, these beliefs? Just trust and let go. And do your best. And to go back to this whole example, this very specific example of this person, this energy that came into your life and you feel has brought you to where you are, which you are very grateful for, right? So they've built you up. And now this person is leaving or something is like a situation is happening with this person, right? I think that one of the things that has really helped me understand people leaving and just the idea of letting go of anything at all is if you truly love something, you can appreciate it for what it is in all of its beautiful complexity. And part of that complexity might not involve you. So to truly love something is to let it go. That's a huge cliche, right? But if you love, let's say you have a plant, a beautiful plant, right? And you love looking at this plant in the morning and you put it next to your bed. But this plant is like a tropical plant and your apartment is completely AC, 67 degrees, whatever. The best thing to do for this plant is to put it outside in the sun, in the humidity, right? And if you really, really love this plant, you will move it outside because you care for the health of that plant and whatever path the universe has for that plant in store, you care for that way more than you do for keeping it near you, keeping it under your eyes, for whatever reason, right? Like, you know that the best thing for it is to let it be, let it go. So what are you going to do in that case? You're going to move the plant outside because that's the best thing to do for the plant.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that process of moving that plant is like, it feels like, it's like as I move it, I'm letting go of everything it gave me, you know? But in like all the strength that it gave me, all the oxygen that it gave me, I'm also putting it outside. That's what it felt like. I know that's not what it is, because if I change my perspective, it would be, no, well, it's not about you not having oxygen, it's about them growing. And once you change that perspective, I think you'll find peace in it being outside, because you'll be like, wow, this gave me so much oxygen in this season. Now it will be stronger for the next season for someone else. That is the hard part. Seeing my plant with someone else. No, but it's not my plant. Like what you're saying, that plant does not belong to me, right? I might have had it and it's nice, but it's not my plant. In the world of how many plants do you have? It's in the spiritual world. It's not about how many plants that you have. It's how many plants can you give, or how many plants grow around you. That's the most important thing.
One other higher perspective I would like to give you is, let's understand any relationship, right? Like majority of the people have problems with relationships because it's not easy to understand where everything is gonna end up. That's the most challenge for everyone. A person is ever changing, ever growing, or ever decreasing, whatever it is. So looking at it from a higher perspective over time, understanding that in a relationship, if the difference in expectations is broader, the relationship is going to be inefficient. It's going to create a lot of problems and stress. So setting the expectations and path and staying to those expectations and path on both sides is important. And surrounding yourself with that environment around you will reduce the stress for you, will help you focus on things that matter, as in your self-improvement and other things. And constantly keep practicing this thing day in, day out. You will see the brightness at the end of the tunnel. But trust me, once you see it, the quality of life is going to be way different. It's not about the quantity, it's always about the quality. That has to be the focus.
Yeah, just to touch on that specific topic, you know, something I've noticed, and I'm pretty sure your viewers notice too, once you start on that journey, you seem to come off a little selfish. Why? Because you're protecting your energy and you're walking the path that you believe, right? And a lot of us, when we don't know ourselves, we role model ourselves towards people, you know, whether it be someone fictional or, you know, non-fictional. We're watching this individual and you say, wow, this person does this really nice, and I want to do that, right? And the scary part is when we're growing and the person that we watch is the one that wants to push us down.
That's why the religions invented the concept of God as in the Father. So one has to follow the Father. And in Vedic philosophies and other religions, of course, there is this concept of God, or in Vedic philosophies, we call it as Paramatma, the one he who follows the Supreme Self. So one of the things that we have teach in our third person perspective is like, when you create the third person perspective and start purifying yourself, that is the person you are going to be watching. That is the person you're going to be following, the purest of the perspective, which separates Joe from himself and watches at a third person perspective, at a higher perspective, and understand and decide everything from that point of view. There will be occasions where you will be pushed down by the society around you. And we have to accept it as well, because our generation and our past generations were responsible for the state we are in today. And we take that accountability too. We don't want to let go of that accountability. We want to change everything around us too. And when you purify your third person perspective to the absolute point, you will understand what is right can protect itself as well. I will give you one example. Some person has caused you some problems. He betrayed your trust. Then you can use your third person perspective that you developed in the back of your head, the purer one, explain him from that perspective in terms of like what could that behavior will result in. Yeah. One example I will give you, right? Like, let's say someone did a business venture with you and they betrayed you. Even if before they betray you, you know the signs that they're about to do that. You can talk in a third person perspective with them and say the examples that you have seen in the history. Every time there has been greed, there has been catastrophic problems that have always succeeded, right? There has been always loss of that spirit, that thought, or that body. A person that is greedy will always develop a health condition in relation to that and will destroy himself, his quality of life. A family or lineage that is greedy will end that lineage or family line altogether. We have seen throughout the history. There is another way, I call it the Krishna way. Let's say if someone is beyond help, not even ready to listen, Krishna has this funny way of handling those situations. He enables that behavior a little bit more so that they will destroy themselves. When he promotes that behavior, it will accelerate their karmas. This is what Dara has been referring at the start of this podcast, that all the problems one is going to have, at the end of the day, they're blessing in disguise towards making yourself better.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. You mentioned that self-growth feels selfish. But what I want to point out is that you have to think about why you're even interested in the self-growth. If you become a better person, you can then elevate all of the people around you in the best, most efficient way. So your self-growth is not necessarily selfish, because you growing will then help you help others.
Yeah, totally, without a doubt, yeah.
So do you have any other thoughts that we can end on?
No, I just want to end off with saying I'm thankful for the both of you. You definitely add a perspective for me to continue to look through. And in that, you know, I need to do the work. That's it. If that's just how growth works, doing the work and not being afraid of what may happen. Because, you know, like you said, we don't know. But if my intention is to be good, is to have peace, is to have growth, then whatever comes with that should be good as well. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do from now on. And I want to thank you guys for emitting positive energy, and hopefully this cycle continues. Someone else can hear your words, hear my words, hear Dara's words, and you know, someone else can be here and gain another perspective.
Thanks to you, mainly. Thanks for the openness, and thanks for sharing all your feelings and thoughts with us. This has been a different experience for us, and it is beautiful. We never thought it's going to turn out this good, the conversation that we are having, and we were not expecting that this could help the way you are expressing either. We are grateful to be here, and if you need any help on any of these aspects or anything for that matter, feel free to reach out to us. We are always here to help.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So if anyone else is interested in having a podcast session with us, be it in privacy or be it in public appearance, feel free to reach out to us. We are always responding back to our emails and comments. We're looking forward to hearing more from everyone. Thank you.